Hi guys, my name is Liz. I am an epidemiologist, a plant-based nutrition specialist, and a health coach. In today's video, we are going to talk about how you can apply the E.A.T method to help you eat your way to a naturally lower blood pressure. The idea behind this concept is that you can use this to help you address what's going on with your own health, and that you can use it to help you think about how you can make adjustments to your own diet that are going to help you improve your health. So in this video, we are going to talk about how the E.A.T method can be applied to managing blood pressure. So we'll start with the letter E. E stands for evaluate, but you could also use E to mean expert, because it's at this point where you are becoming the expert in your own health. This step is all about generating data. And I, as an epidemiologist, love data because for me, it is my way of really beginning to understand what's going on. And it's ordinarily at this point in the video where I encourage people to pause and to take a moment to evaluate how they are feeling. What is a bit different about your blood pressure is that typically you do not feel symptoms of high blood pressure unless you are experiencing extremely high blood pressure, which is really, really dangerous. We have to look at this a little bit differently when we are applying E for evaluate to your blood pressure. The first thing I want you to turn your attention to would be blood pressure trends. One elevated blood pressure reading does not necessarily mean that you have high blood pressure. If you watch my video on blood pressure screening, I talk about there being a lot of different factors that can influence your blood pressure reading and sometimes cause your blood pressure to be falsely higher than it actually is. So I am going to suggest that you check your blood pressure at least 3 or 4 times, whether that is at home or maybe at your local pharmacy. If you see that you have consistently high blood pressure readings, then that is a pretty good signal that you may have high blood pressure, and that is something that you can take to your doctor. The second thing that you can start to pay attention to right now is how much sodium you are consuming in your diet. High sodium is one of the biggest drivers of high blood pressure. And by bringing attention to how much sodium you are eating, you can already start to do one of those things that you're likely to be recommended to do if you find out that you have high blood pressure. So what I suggest to my clients who are paying attention to their blood pressure is that they check the ingredients labels or the nutrition facts on their food and check how much sodium is there. That is going to help you give you a better understanding of how much sodium you're actually consuming and if the food choices that you are making are high in sodium. And then a third thing would be your servings of greens. So your leafy greens or other vegetables are foods that contain a lot of potassium and nitrates. And potassium and nitrates, they both counteract the sodium that you are consuming by helping to reduce the pressure in your arteries. It is helpful for you to keep track of how many servings of vegetables and fruits you're eating, so that way you can understand whether or not that might play a role in your blood pressure measurements. Keeping a log of these 3 things is a really great way for you to establish a baseline. Right now, evaluating at this step in the process, it is not about making changes. It is just about understanding where you are at right now. If you find out that all of your blood pressure readings are elevated, then having that information that you can take with you when you go to see your doctor or your healthcare provider is going to be a really helpful tool for you to figure out what could be a good next step for you in helping you to find the best care for yourself. I've created a digital log that you can download. You can fill it out on your computer or phone, or you can print out your own copy of it. And it has a space for you to be able to enter blood pressure readings, the amount of sodium that you are consuming, and also log the servings of fruits and vegetables that you're eating each day. If you'd like to use this log as your own tool to help you keep track of some data points, some factors that might be influencing your blood pressure, then comment evaluate in the comments below and I will share that link with you. Or you can also go to the link for this video and find a link to download that in the description. A is for adjust. And this is the point where I want you to look at the data that you've been generating, your own blood pressure readings, the sodium that you've been consuming, and also the number of fruits and vegetable servings that you've been eating. Really be honest with yourself about what it's telling you. The most important part is looking at that blood pressure reading. If you're consistently getting high blood pressure readings, then my guidance for you is that you follow up with your healthcare provider and talk to them and bring them this data that you have generated, because it will be a really helpful tool for you to use with your doctor or your healthcare provider to help figure out what should be your next action. But beyond that, you also have agency to make adjustments right there at home. The key here is sustainability. Overhauling your entire diet or lifestyle is overwhelming for most people. And not only that, it might be unnecessary. Start with 1 or 2 small adjustments. That could be starting with the sodium or greens like you've already been monitoring, or starting with whatever you might work out with your doctor. If you're able to visit your doctor and talk to them about your concerns about your high blood pressure readings. If you are adjusting your sodium, the goal here is not to never have salt again, but to reduce your salt intake to an amount that is going to be friendly to your arteries. The American Heart Association recommends that you aim for no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day. That is about 3/4 of a teaspoon. That might not seem like very much, and it really does add up quickly. But building that awareness is a really helpful tool for you. Another small adjustment that you might be able to make is adding more greens to your diet. I want to add here as a caveat that these 2 adjustments, paying attention to your sodium and your fruit and veggie intake, that these are 2 really impactful ways that you can help to improve your blood pressure, and they are really good things that you can start to do already at home. Still, going to see your doctor if you are seeing elevated blood pressure readings is a really important step too. They might want to prescribe you blood pressure medications. You can look at this like your house is on fire. When your house is on fire, you want to call the fire department and get them to come and put out the fire. You don't want to stay inside your house and work on that faulty wiring that caused the fire in the first place. And what I mean here is that blood pressure medications, they can help you to get your blood pressure under control, so that way you can stop that damage that is happening to your organs by having elevated blood pressure that's uncontrolled. You can then start to address the root causes of your blood pressure and how you might be able to bring your blood pressure down naturally through diet and lifestyle interventions. So it's not an either or, where you either address your blood pressure naturally or you take medications. There is a place for both of these interventions. If you're someone who is being treated for high blood pressure and taking blood pressure medications, by changing your diet, some people, they experience really rapid reductions in their blood pressure just by beginning to address the root causes of that hypertension through their diet. If you're taking hypertension medications and you want to make changes to your diet that start to address the root causes of your hypertension, then you should work with and communicate with your doctor so that way you can properly address whether or not your medication might need to be adjusted to make sure that you don't see your blood pressure drop too low as you are starting to improve your diet. Finally, we have the letter T, which stands for thrive, because controlling or preventing hypertension is not just about preventing yourself from having a heart attack or a stroke. It's also about what having a healthy cardiovascular system can offer you. At this point in the video, I want you to pause the video and I want you to ask yourself, what does thriving with a healthy cardiovascular system look like to you? Is it being able to stay active into your 80s and not needing to take a full pharmacy full of medications just to function through your day? Pause now and write down what thriving with healthy arteries means to you. Now that you have a clearer picture of what thriving means to you, I want you to answer one final question. What is it that is going to help you thrive? You can use this method to help you understand where you're at right now, what adjustments you can make, and what thriving looks like for you. And lastly, I want you to take a moment just to show a little bit of gratitude to yourself. The fact that you are watching this video and that you've watched it all the way to the end proves that you care. You care about your health, you care about taking care of yourself and about finding a way that you can thrive in the life that you've got. And that is something beautiful and sacred and something that you should have immense gratitude to yourself for, that you are showing up for yourself. So I want to thank you now for taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you in the next one.